welcome back to Movie Review Mom. The world is still shut down because of this pandemic. But the good news is that a lot of movies are going straight to streaming. So, yay, we can watch movies at home in the comfort of our pajamas. So, thank you for subscribing. I'm trying to keep you updated on what's going straight to streaming and what's available and when it's available. And so, today, the movie that is available online now is called Human Capital. The movie is being rated as TV 14 for TV. However, I would rate it R in a movie theater, mostly because of the language. And I'll tell you about tips for parents in just a minute. The movie is an hour and 35 minutes, and the movie review mom grade I'm giving it is a C. First, in a quick nutshell, the movie is directed by Mark Myers, and it's a thriller mystery and kind of a remake of the 2013 Italian movie also called Human Capital. Both stories are loosely based on a mystery novel by Stephen Amadon. And despite a very good cast, the movie is mostly forgettable. It'll pass the time if you're completely bored at home. And there are some noteworthy moments. But I'm just saying it's not going to win Best Movie of the Year, that's for sure. So let me give you some quick tips for parents. First of all, there's a married woman and she has an affair, and there's talk of a married man having an affair. You see some tossing around, but you don't see a whole lot of skin or anything like that. So that's good. There is some profanity, including quite a few F-bombs, and that's what would make it rated R between that and the tumbling around in bed action. There's talk of a young man who comes out as being gay, and some interesting themes are pride, humiliation, greed, self-interest, and how our choices affect other people. And choice, consequences, and accountability are really interesting topics that you could talk about with your kids if you choose to see this movie with them. I wouldn't recommend it for younger kids who would be bored anyway, possibly for older teenagers, because some of these issues will definitely ring true to them and affect them and their choices in life. Other themes are money and class warfare between rich versus poor, and the power that's associated or the lack of power that's associated with economic stability or financial security and that kind of thing. And then also protecting the ones you love. And it would be an interesting conversation in your family to ask, at what great lengths would you go to in order to protect the person that you love or the people that you love? So that's kind of an interesting conversation and really the theme of the movie. Now, some things that I liked are, first of all, I mentioned the fantastic cast. It includes Marissa Tomei, Liev Schreiber, Peter Sarsgaard, Maya Hawke, Alex Wolff, and Betty Gabriel. And speaking of Maya Hawke, did you know that she's actually the daughter of incredible actors Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman? So good for her. She did some modeling. Now she's jumping into the acting world. And I had never actually seen her in anything, although she was in the BBC adaptation of Little Women, as well as the popular Netflix series Stranger Things in season 3. I think I watched one episode and I guess I just didn't have the time for it, so I didn't get engaged. Although I know it's been really successful, and maybe now I'll watch it again. I don't know. Anyway, her parents should be very proud of her because she does a really good job with a very solid performance and is pretty intriguing to watch. Another thing that I actually liked and disliked at the same time in this movie was how the director gives you snippets of the story that slowly fit together in pieces. It's a nonlinear method, and I thought it was a really effective way to tell this story, albeit a bit confusing at times. And the parts that I didn't like about it is that some people might get confused about the timeline because it jumps around. And I readily admit that it was at times jarring because you think you're investing yourself emotionally in who you think is the protagonist, only to find out that maybe that's not the protagonist. So then another type of story comes along and you're like, okay, so is this what the movie's really all about? And of course, they're all connected by threads. And then, of course, at the very end, it all wraps up. But like I said, I liked it. And then at moments I was like, oh, but overall, I think if just a regular linear storytelling would have been a little bit more boring. So in that regard, I really did enjoy it. And then I also just generally thought that it was fascinating to watch how everyone was affected by the various events and see how things unfolded according to their own perspective. Now, there were some things that I didn't like, such as the confusing timeline and jumping around in the story and jumping around in the perspective. But I did think that the mysterious nature of the movie was compelling, yet the resolution was not nearly as satisfying as it could have been or should have been. It was kind of like, okay. It's really hard to fall in love with any of the characters. Of course, all of us are flawed. We're all human beings, but there were just aspects of all of the characters that just didn't really speak to me or grab me emotionally. And in fact, I think it would have made the story even better to learn more about the cyclist in the story, because you get to see the different perspective of all the characters except for the cyclist. And I think that it would have been interesting to see how his life was intertwined with all of the other characters. And then again, maybe that was the point. He was just supposed to be anonymous, but it seemed to have missed an opportunity, in my opinion. Now, some people are comparing this movie to Crash or to the movie My Friend Dahmer, also directed by Mark Myers. So if you like his storytelling technique, then check out that. And also be sure and click down below in the YouTube description for my unique link that will take you to the streaming. It doesn't cost you any more to watch the movie that way, but it does help my little YouTube channel and help pay for my kids' college tuition. So thank you. And again, thank you for subscribing. Spread the word. Tell all your friends. I sure appreciate your support. Be safe and healthy. Bye for now.